Yeah, I did see the Nikki EO backstage thing. The whole pave the way line really didn't do anything for me. I kind of just kept it as an afterthought. Of course, I disagreed, but I wasn't triggered or felt like I needed to say anything about it. I didn't even realize anyone said anything about it until Nikki and Bree showed up on my X feed with their little podcast or what have you, and it was clipped that she had said the people that took umbrage with EO saying Nikki paved the way for her was young ignorant men. And I really didn't react to it at all, so this wasn't toward me directly or indirectly, but I did find the comment to be interesting. You know, I covered the Bellas over a year ago when they were promoting their new reality show, Twin Love, where these twins were in a house like Love Island and dated other twins or something like that. And in that video I have several clips of where Nikki is doing this thing, and she may think that it's young ignorant men that disagree with EO saying, "Thank you, Nikki, you paved the way for me," or us, whatever she said. And Nikki's taking issue with this because she believes it. The line itself was a part of dialogue, a part of the show, and they probably didn't think anyone was going to think much of it. But you gotta look beneath the surface here. What Nikki's doing, what she's saying is that line is deserved for her. It's reserved and deserved for her. Even though this is a scripted show and that was a piece of dialogue, and fans, not all fans, some fans didn't agree with it, Nikki decided that she's not doing a work here right now, and I can prove it. She's done many interviews and many podcasts with this same type of angle. Nikki wants more credit than what she deserves. When the Bella Twins were in their heyday, I mean, I was a huge Nikki simp. I was definitely a big Nikki simp when she was doing the Power Girl backwards cap thing, you know? Because she was really focusing on bodybuilding and getting better in-ring work, and she was performing better, but she was never elite. She has done a good amount of speaking out publicly how the WWE wasn't good to her because they wanted to do other things like not wrestle, okay? They wanted to go to Mimosaville, like I said over a year ago in the last video I did about these ladies. If you don't know what Mimosaville is, you're gonna have to catch up with the channel. It's in the lore. But if I'm remembering correctly, EO was wrestling before Nikki was, and we can even excuse that. And I'll even go with what Nikki said to Bree. And by the way, like, Bree does this too, but Bree seems to not be as vocal about it. Nikki's determined to get more respect and adulation for her efforts and her career and resume in WWE than what's owed to her. But I'll even go with her argument here that, oh, it's not just about moves in the ring. I mean, you gotta stop right there because you're oversimplifying it. It's about in-ring IQ, something that Nikki never excelled at. The Bella Twins never excelled at. They learned a lot from the people they were hanging around with, and improved in like the last 2-3 years they were there full time. But Nikki Bella's no leader of any women's era. Like, she just isn't. And again, I was one of the biggest Nikki fans. I really was. I'm not even trying to troll right now. But she's gone on about complaining of how it wasn't fair. They didn't get to do the Hell in the Cell matches and this and that and the other. And it just wasn't a part of her timeline. Just being a diva is not enough for her. She wants to show everyone she's tough and can do this, and do this still. And I don't understand why. They made it out like Rock and Cena, you know? They made it to mainstream. And she has this itch to come prove herself in the ring, but there's a lot of problems and complexities with that, you know? When I was a big fan of Nikki Bella, dude, that was 15 years ago, you know? 10, 15 years ago. If you were 13, you're 23 now. The respect owed has been given to her. And it's unfortunate that Nikki has not positive experiences with men, but to just blow off any criticism as it's just ignorant men, and even to say young ignorant men, as if your main audience when you were at your peak was not men, young men that are now older and wiser and hip to things. So when something is said like, "Oh, thanks Nikki from EO Sky, you paved the way for me," and they criticize that piece of dialogue, you take that personally and attack them. And by the way, you're kind of generalizing. There's no way it can be all men anyway, and it's certainly not all ignorant men. But you plant that line of demarcation when you say ignorant men, you're being divisive for the audience. And trust me, over half of your audience is men. Nikki may not like that, but that's the truth. The Bellas want another run. They've been talking about it for over a year. They kind of like tried to swerve everyone when they were talking to Mark Raimondi, who has a book coming out about the NWO. Be sure to check that out. If there's a link, I'll put it below. Good dude, and what a topic to write about. They've been hyping this. Oh, they may go to AEW, who knows? We don't know what we'll do. I said in that video as well, the only place they would ever return is the WWE. That's the only thing that makes sense. That's the only thing their egos will allow them to go to. Because they've been Mimosavilled. They've been Mimosavilled now longer than what they were wrestlers. So now we get this angle here with Nikki Bella getting oblivioned by Liv. So at Evolution, Brie can come and have a beef with Liv and Raquel can have her back. And now we got a tag team title match. Now, more importantly than the Bella twins returning for a match, and I'll get back to the match in a second, is these women's tag team titles. They need to go. They need to go. Liv and Raquel hold it. Liv goes to a movie. Raquel holds it. Liv comes back. They continue to hold it, and they're gonna hold it until the Bellas meet them at Night of Champions. What I would like to see happen, since this is gonna happen, is the Bella twins beat Liv and Raquel, and then those women's tag team titles are retired. I don't want to see a yo-yoing of the Bella twins winning it, and then they get a rematch later at Survivor Series. No. The Bella twins want to come back so their kids can see them wrestle, which I've never understood this. This is what Goldberg wanted to do too, and a couple of others. I think it's just a lame thing to do. They can go watch your videos if they want to see you wrestle, you know? I still think it's self-serving your ego. This has to be a one match because, man, the Bella twins were never excellent in the ring. Never. Their crossover to mainstream is their notoriety, and they are extremely successful. I'm really trying to understand who is craving a Bella twin return. For what? I would get it if it was like, man, that their tag team work was just, it was up there with the Machine Guns. You know what I mean? They were just unstoppable. Everything was in sync. None of that is like reality. We don't need the women's tag team titles anymore, and hopefully this should be enough proof to everybody that that's not an opinion. I really hope we don't see the Bella twins win and then a rematch, and Liv and Raquel win and then a rematch, and then it's singles match with Nikki and Liv, and then singles match with Nikki and Raquel, then Raquel and Brie, dragging this out for no reason at all. No reason at all. There's no tag team division, and the Bella twins are back to A, promote some stuff, and B, they're just bored, dude, and things aren't perfect in their personal lives, personal universe, I should say. Io is not following in Nikki's footsteps whatsoever. The women's division isn't following in Nikki's footsteps whatsoever. Are there female wrestlers that are diva era-esque? Of course. You could obviously point to Chelsea Green and a couple of others, but that's a few sprinkled characters in a deep roster, and a lot of them can actually go. And Bella twins were always serviceable. But this is not, bro, she's not Hulk Hogan or John Cena or Bret Hart, not even for the women. And you don't have to be a woman to know and understand that, along with the complexities of societal growth, socioeconomics, business psychology, branding, negotiations, and fighting for what you want. Any reasonable thinking human being can be on that level. Has nothing to do with ignorance or lack thereof. No matter what happens, I suppose it's better that Nikki is attached to some kind of tag team story as opposed to a singles line. Putting her in the US picture or anything higher tiered, no doubt about it, would be such a bad move, because what would that say about what you have? You have stars that can be way bigger than Nikki ever was. You just gotta let them breathe and push them. Let them work. She's absolutely right in the fact that they broke ground, but she can't help but to keep pinning it to her and her sister. And she has to remind herself constantly, like a mental exercise, that, well, not just us, others too. I don't understand, man. The Bella twins got their shine, but they also came in underneath, you know? They were a part of an era that is represented by more than them. So is it bad that Nikki is back and Brie's gonna be back by Evolution? No, it's not that it's bad at all. They just don't need to be in some main in-ring story title chase or title picture. It's nonsensical. With all that said, I would take a big chunk of this back if Nikki or WWE, anyone that hears this, decided to make Nikki a heel and disrupt the entire division. That's very interesting. Not nice Nikki, not backwards cap Nikki, just carrying chairs or a bat or a sledgehammer or something and just interrupting matches until she gets what she wants, right? If Nikki could make herself relevant in a way that makes impact on the division, again, she would have to reinvent herself to do it. But if she did something along those lines, this could be a very interesting and welcome thing. But she has to be willing to lose. She has to be willing to get her hands dirty. She has to be willing to do some shoot interviews with some women, back and forth. Can't go one way. She has to be willing to get brutalized, you know? From now all the way to Mania, have some kind of deep heel arc going into Mania, and Mania is where they finally stop and then they're done forever. Their kids got to see them. Nikki gets to show us how tough she is and she gets even more respect for doing something cool. But if it's just gonna be the same music and they're gonna come out remote and they're gonna do, you know, their little tag team things and hip bump, that's long gone. Long gone. I don't even know if Brie wants to be back as much as Nikki, but if she's gonna be back the same as Nikki, then they should just be a vicious tag team. Or Brie can be her mouthpiece or something, because there is no tag team division. I really don't think we need to carry the tag team titles anymore. Just put them on ice until there's a deeper division of tag team women.
That's amazing. I didn't know that about you.
What do you know?
That you're a musician. But that's why I'm interviewing you today, so I can get to know you.
So I'm a musician. What the fuck that mean? Make magic or something? What is musician?
I think you're confusing that.
Yeah, I'm not no musician.
I
I make music. I make music. And that's not all I do. I make music, I act. I'm a TV star too, a young mogul.
Just really quick, I think you're confusing.
I'm not confusing nothing because you don't know. You thought that all I was a magician or whatever the fuck you said.
See, that's what I think you think I said.
No,
I said musician, not magician.
I don't think, baby, I don't think. What is that? That's ghetto. I don't think.
Jey Uso lost the belt and people are divided on it. I'm not overly happy or overly mad about it. I think it was the right move, the right timing. I don't know what's happening with Gunther and Jey, but I would like to see this to be a long-term story overlapping with what we got going on with Seth Rollins. But man, Gunther is just a fitting presence as a champion. And right now it feels like he's a good representation of this era. I think Seth Rollins has his eye on the other title. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see, of course, but I don't think it's all over for Jey. He's probably gonna have another match or two against Gunther. If he's just pushed to the side and back down into the back down into the bucket to be sorted out, I really don't know where he would go, which direction his character would go. That could be interesting too. But Gunther is the right call going into SummerSlam and into Saudi Arabia. I know we got the Goldberg thing going on. I really would be surprised, to put it mildly, if Gunther lost the belt to Goldberg. Isn't that happening at Saturday Night's Main Event? Something like that. That would be terrible creative, but I guess I wouldn't put it past him.
Hey, Dwayne.
Night of Champions is shaping up to be something of a spectacle, no doubt about it. Couple of surprises in the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, and they are definitely making things interesting when it comes to that. Like the idea of CM Punk, John Cena. How good of a match are they gonna have? I feel like it's gonna be either excellent or disastrous. Hoping for the former. Roxanne Perez advancing in the Queen of the Ring was pretty cool to see, though I do believe it is going to Jade Cargill. Was surprised Charlotte Flair did not advance. You gotta take a little bit of the hate off of Charlotte, right? That's the second time she's put over somebody else instead of herself, right? If I can admit it, so can you. King of the Ring, I feel like it's no doubt Cody Rhodes, but I could also see Cody not being King of the Ring. and they're just dragging that story out, you know? He had to fight back. So there's no argument when he does get the title shot at Mania, probably Rumble, Survivor Series, whatever it's gonna be. Personally, I would like for it to be Sami Zayn becoming the King of the Ring. One thing that they dropped the ball on, in my opinion, for the writing was the mystery man, but Uso was champion while a mystery man was announced, and they'll just plug him in. I don't know, maybe overlook seemed kind of lazy. Orton and Rhodes as the finals is gonna be a little bit too predictable for me. Still would be a fantastic match, but personally as a fan, I mean, you know, I'd like to see Rusev go all the way, but I don't see that happening. I think it'll be Cody's to take. And again, back to when I was talking about Roxanne Perez, I think she's going off against Jade Cargill. I don't expect Roxanne to win. I just hope it's not like a squash match type of thing, because I can admit from the past 2-3 months I've seen some improvement from Jade, but she still has her limitations. But if I had to guess, we're looking at Alexa Bliss and Jade Cargill in the finals, which is a perfect time for me to go into my next area of focus. Alexa Bliss with this Sister Abigail, I think she should just drop.
ABCDEFG ARHFX IMNP QRX IMNP.
Alright.
I think creative should find her a new finishing move. Alexa is not a part of the Wyatts, and the Wyatts are have fallen off a cliff, unfortunately. What they should have done is what I said they should have done back, I don't remember when that was, January? Yeah, I think it was January. Oh yeah, it was. When The Rock was asking for the souls and holding up 3 fingers and whatnot, I was saying, you know, Bo Dallas should completely abandon this Wyatt 6 thing and do this whole legacy and dark character through being a corporate heel, working with Cena. Maybe later on churning on him, working with Cena and The Rock. I thought The Rock would use the Wyatt 6 to interfere in certain matches, certain moments of the story. I was getting ahead of myself, clearly, given everything that happened. But the Wyatts are back now, and for some reason, they're after the tag team titles. And the story isn't being given to us at all. There's a couple of promos talking in circles that do not matter, because the tag team titles don't make any sense for a focus for what the Wyatts are supposed to be. This is not working anymore. The imagery is not even being as effective. Nikki Cross is down there sometimes with the mask as she walks down the aisle, but now she's not wearing that mask and she's just trying to make these weird cringe EO Sky looking faces and hanging on to Bo Dallas's leg, and none of it's making any sense, because why are they doing this? And stop using dark Edgar Allan Poe references to try to get a point across. I like the entire cast of the Wyatts, but unless this is like a faction being used by someone of more power, it is not going to work. And I've already seen certain tweets about it asking, you know, what happened to them. I try to tell everybody. Bo Dallas needs to drop the Uncle Howdy thing and be Bo Dallas. Still dark character and still referencing Bray and Funhouse and everything, but shaking these albatrosses off of his neck, okay? And let him breathe and be great. That's what the WWE should do. If I was writing this, that's where we would go. Now, I like the cast, but they can either be ancillary to Bo Dallas without him being Uncle Howdy, or they can take another angle. I know everybody has their certain personal attachments for various reasons, but this has got to be corrected, or they're all going to end up off air and probably just not a part of WWE, and nobody wants that. Bo has the instincts, the mind, and he also has the in-ring skills. He can be used much more effectively than sitting in the chair watching these tag team matches, because why do they want that gold? There's not a good reason, and even when they come up with one, it's going to be hard to be convincing, because that's not what they came for anyway. Since when were the Wyatts about, championing and being the ones on top of the mountain? It's anti that. They're the antithesis of it, I thought, at least. So hopefully we get to figure it out.
Sing that part, so they'll know. If you can hit that note.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfucker.